Well, welcome back to Taffs Well. It's not like I haven't been here a few times before. Yeah, just a couple of videos that I've made based around this station, and it is a building site. There is a lot going on. The metro depot over there. More and more trams every time I come here. More and more trams seem to have arrived. But there's a good reason I'm here. When I finished the last video, I said that between Tongwynlais and Taffs Well, there was nothing left. The A470 had obliterated the railway line, it had obliterated the canal, and well, I wasn't making it up. Take a look for yourself. And it's kind of a bit of a shame in some respects, because one of my favourite images is this one. It shows one of the steam rail cars chuffing up north of Tongwynlais Tunnel, heading towards Taffs Well, where it will go round it. And in the background, the Railway Viaduct, Walnut Tree Viaduct, showing the successful Barry Railway and the not quite so successful Cardiff Railway, which is kind of a bit of a metaphor in some ways. Now, I said that the Cardiff Railway was late to the party, and I wasn't kidding. There was already the Taffs Well lines, 4 of them, coming down through here. The canal, the river. The Rumney Railway came down and joined the Taffs Well lines at Walnut Tree, and ironically the new depot crossover is more or less roughly where that junction would have been. So the Cardiff Railway had to find a way through this gap, which is Taffs Well, and they did so in quite a circuitous route, and it was literally under a bridge, over a bridge, under another bridge, over another, and it was just bridge all the way, snaking the way through. And in actual fact, the next station on the line wasn't at Taffs Well, but just north. The first remains are hidden away in Portobello Quarry. Now, at this point, the line would have been in a cutting, having passed through the quarry. It had a siding that was opened to shift stone. Before that, there was a tramway coming out of the quarry, which went down to the canal. And this image here, if you look closely, you can just see the tramway here. And that siding would have replaced this and would have replaced the traffic on the canal. And there was also some discussion right up to the last minute that they were going to put a halt in here for the quarry workers. So this is Portobello Quarry today. There is nothing here. They use some of the sides of the quarry for climbing. It's all been filled in, overgrown and what have you. But there is something at the top there, which I'm going to show you. I took this footage when I was up here previously, and it looks like it could be the top of a bridge filled in. When you look beyond it, there are houses. So it looks as though the cutting that the line went through is obviously no more. And it's very possible it's in the right place when you look on the maps. I asked the folks in the Taffs Well and Nangarw Facebook group, and they've come back and said, yes, it is. So this is the bridge that the Cardiff Railway came under before it went past Cemetery Road. As we come out here, we're at Cemetery Road, and there would have been an underbridge here. There's absolutely nothing on the one side, but this is the parapet of that bridge. But beyond it, the land drops away quite sharply. And it's when you get around the corner into Forest Lane, you see something completely different. So here the railway had to cross over the road, over Forest Road. So you're going from an underbridge to an overbridge very, very quickly. I've taken loads of video and images over the time. I'm going to run with these for now, so you get an idea of what this looks like. And it's still here on the one side of the road, and again showing the quality of the build that the Cardiff Railway did. On the other side of the road, however, nothing. There's a building yard with my name on it. Well, not quite my name on it, it's nothing to do with me. But I do wish they'd invite me to go and watch rugby at Rodney Parade sometime. The next obstacle they had to overcome was the Rumney Railway. This line came down from Caerphilly through Penrose, that's Penrose Junction, and down what was known as the Big Hill. And I've done a couple of videos about this as well. When it got to this line, it needed to go underneath it, and they built quite a simple bridge. So from the road, you can't actually see this bridge. This is the Robert Price Yard, and it is blocked off more or less completely any view of the Cardiff Railway Bridge, but this is it. From up above, I'm walking up the old track bed of the Rumney Railway, and here you can see two lines that would have gone over it. Let's have a look at this side. You can see bridge parapets. Give that a touch. There we go. Lots of graffiti on this iron bridge. Again, beautifully capped stone. I come around this side. I don't know whether leaning out here is going to accomplish anything. Probably not. But you can see there's a hole down there that the line would have come under. On this side, I have actually snuck around here before. So I'll show you that footage in a second. But again, you can see on the other side, again, the capstone. Nice bit of street art. Makes a change. It's normally just letters. And I have snuck around here before, so let me dig that image out, that footage out. It's actually quite interesting. There's a cat down there. Probably can't see that. Here we go. It's actually quite simple to get around here. A lot more open than it has been for some time. So it looks like it's kind of like a skateboard ramp down there. And the line would have gone in that direction. And what you can see beyond that, it went through what is now the allotments. Now the allotments are normally closed off, but I got special permission to go in and film. And this is what I found. To give you some perspective, this is the Rumney Railway, which would have come down from Penrose Junction into Taffs Well. And as I say, the Cardiff would have been right in front of us. Where that lump was, that was the embankment that took it on upwards towards the next bridge that went over the canal. It is, you can see quite down here, it's quite a defined path. And in actual fact, by standing back here, zoom in, you can just about make out the top of the bridge up there. And so, under Cemetery Road, over Forest Road, through where currently the Robert Price yard is, and then underneath this bridge of what was the Rumney Railway. Next stop, it needed to cross the canal again. This image, which was one of Ian L. Wright's images, shows the bridge over the canal. It's been used so many times, and it's from one of his books. Ian basically documented what was possibly one of the last trains to cross this bridge, because this was the point at which the line skewed off and joined up with the Taffs Well. I took this image of this signal back in the 1980s. I'd been for a walk with my then fiance, my now wife, and I kind of liked the signal, so I took a picture of it. But what I didn't realise was there in the background is the junction. This was where the Cardiff Railway had been skewed to join the Taffs Well lines. And it was still there in those days, despite the fact the coking plant, coal mine had closed in the about 1986. That canal bridge, the railway, everything would have been roughly here. And today, there is absolutely nothing to show there was anything here. The weather has turned nicely and it is starting to drizzle. But we have come through the zigzags of Taffs Well, and now the line just goes straight. It's interesting how I say there's little to show, there's nothing left and this sort of thing. And yet I've just noticed, which I've never noticed before all the times I've been up here, a cottage with the name Lock Cottage. No canal, no relics, nothing here. And yet it's called Lock Cottage. I didn't go down and pry, just took this photo. But yeah, everywhere you look, there is something. So let's keep going straight. So if I pull up Rail Map online, we can see what's ahead of us. There are three relics we're going to have a look at. First of all, Vanillin Station. Secondly, the Skew Bridge, which goes over Cardiff Road. And thirdly, the site of Nantgarw Halt. Llanelin is a village which is north of Taffs Well. Today it's kind of like part of Taffs Well. And so much, I mean, this is the rugby club, Taffs Well Rugby Club behind me. But they built a station here because obviously with all the zigzagging through Taffs Well, there wasn't much space to do so. It opened in 1911 and was one of the longer stations. There were a couple on the line. Whitchurch, Tongwynlais, Upper Boat and Llanelin were all built to take 10-car trains. They were extremely long. Now, the reason for this was the Taffs Vale had 10 coach trains, and the Cardiff Railway were hoping, once they'd all connected up and everybody was friends, that the Taffs Vale would run certain services down this line and they would need long stations to actually achieve that. As we know, that didn't happen, but they built them anyway because they were underway and they finished them off, and that's what happened. Now, Upper Boat, Tongwynlais, all got bulldozed away, but Llanelin remains, and this is the start of the platform. It went up there and disappears right up there, and if you can see way in the distance, there is a blue sign, cycling sign. That is where the platform ends. Why is it still here? Well, in 1931, unlike the other stations, somebody bought this one, and even today, it's a private residence. I'm not going to be filming it. So at the end of this shed here and this brick wall, that's where the platform starts. And as I say, all the way along here, the platform keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. There is a gap, but it keeps going past that. This was no halt. It had a goods shed. It had cattle pens. It had a station building, which, as I say, is now a house, just behind this hedge here. And until recently, there was a fence up here. And what you can see is just how far down that is. There's a big gap down there. See, they're repairing the fence. And as I say, the platforms continued and continued all the way along here. In fact, they were 450 feet in length. That's longer than the new Transport for Wales Stadler Flirt trains that they're introducing. 10 coach trains plus an engine was a great ambition. Unfortunately, as we've seen elsewhere, that ambition didn't actually turn into reality. The only one image I'm going to take of the house, because as I say, it is private, is just a little bit of a distance shot, which I'll pop up now, where you can see the two chimneys. And if you compare it to the images that were taken of the station when it was in use and at later time when it was out of use, it is quite remarkable this building still exists. So this wasn't just long, it was wide as well. It was a very wide station. So the one platform was there, the other would have been right in the middle of the rugby pitch. Why on earth was it so wide? The answer is they built for the future. They had planned that should they have a lot of coal trains coming down here and passenger trains, that they could put in an extra 2 tracks that would effectively allow bypass services right down through the middle of the station. So whilst there were trains in the platform, they could keep going. They did the same with Upper Boat. Ironically, they didn't do the same at Tongwynlais or any other station. So it would have kind of eventually reached a bottleneck. But it was plans for the future. And it's why when they actually closed this down and said, look, we just need the line to the colliery, it's why we now have a rugby pitch here. And so onwards, leaving Llanelin station behind us, and we head up towards Nangarw. What looks like a very nice little straightforward footpath. Over to the right, you can see the edge of a cutting. We are on the track bed and heading north, and up ahead of us is a massive, great big retaining wall, because we're heading for one of the bridges I mentioned in the introduction. I said that there were skew bridges, and this was one of them. It's gone, it's been taken out, and yet some of the architecture and some of the relics are still left behind. So the skew bridge over Merthyr Road was double tracked. You could see the space for the one track here, the second track on the path where we're at, and it would have gone straight. Despite the fact it was a skew, the road is to the left, and you can see up ahead a couple of the parapets, a couple of the retaining walls, something going underneath here. More architecture, beautifully done, capped off. And there's the remains there of a post, possibly a telegraph pole. Might have been a signalling post, more likely a telegraph pole. Done in typical Cardiff Railway style. Yeah, sometimes street art works. Okay, so the line would have continued straight onto a bridge, but we're going on a skew. This is a modern bridge that was put in to replace the railway bridge. But you can still see, if I can get my camera up and over it, past these trees, you can still see down there abutments of how it would have gone. So this would have, those risers back there would have been the edge of the bridge, taking it straight over at a skew, over the Merthyr Road, and you can see two abutments down the end. The path continues down there, the River Taff, and across there, the electric pylons of the Pontypridd lines, the old Taffs Well lines. It's hard to believe, like so many parts in Wales, that this was once a railway. I've got the Taff down to the left of me, the A470 up to the right. It is drizzling, but it's actually quite a nice stroll up here. And just to show you some of these, again, the way they do the abutment and this retaining wall along here. I'm going to see if I can get down afterwards and film the other side of this. But this is, I believe there is a stream that is going down there. And there's just literally a stream that goes underneath here and down into the Taff. In actual fact, what's there is this pipe, and that goes through here. I'm not going to attempt to get down and film that side, but it would have gone down here, out the other side. But, you know, building this retaining wall all the way along here, just to kind of shore up the embankment, I take it. But all done, again, nice looking brickwork. So yeah, I popped down roadside film, so the path, the railways up there. You can see the typical sort of turret type style dressed stone. This could just have been brick. They've done it up in really nice stone. Actually really, really good condition. And as I say, there's an arch here and through there, all locked off. Through there would have been, there we go, the pipe across the river. and that's all would have been here, and then this carries on down a little bit further. So this would have been where Nangarw low level halt was. It's quite ironic in some respects because there were two Nantgarw stations, two Nantgarw halts. There was one on the Alexander Newport Dock Railway, and that was up a bit, but it was known as high level, and you had to climb down to get to it. And this one was up here on the embankment, and you had to climb up to get it, but this was low level. I've been able to find a lot of images of the other Nantgarw, and when I do the Alexander Newport Dock Railway, which is on my list to do, I'll show you them. But this particular halt, nothing. It was closed in 1931, and it was just literally a ground level halt. Unlike Llanelin and the next station up a boat, it was nothing in the nicest possible way. There would have been paths down to the left and the right, which you can see on this map here, but they have kind of gone. Might have been one of them, and the line is up to the left there. But there is certainly, it has been absolutely decimated, as has, it's fair to say, what we're going to be featuring in the next video, which is Nantgarw Colliery, because all that is left is that wheel there. The rest of it absolutely flattened. So that's it for the walk up from Taffs Well up to Nantgarw, passing a few hints and whispers of bridges, what's left of Llanelin Station, which is actually beautifully preserved, and Nangarw Halt, like most of the stations on this line, just no more. The next video is going to be heading up from here up as far as Rhydyfelin. There are very, very few things there. As I say, the colliery has been wiped out by an industrial estate and a business park. But before I put that one up, I do have a short video to answer a few questions. Every time I put something up about Corriton cutting, somebody always comments, that should be connected up to the Taffs Well lines. So we're going to go up there, we're going to have a look at what is actually there and whether or not that's feasible. Because as I say quite a lot in that video, it's very easy to put a line on a map. So if you want to see that one, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, tell your friends, and I'm going to get somewhere dry. Until next time.